Good evening, everyone. I am Lovina Goyal from the Department of Biological Sciences and Bioengineering at IIT Kanpur. I am currently a fourth year undergraduate. Today, I'll be presenting my internship work titled Biofilm Maturity Framework, a conceptual model for understanding recruitment competency in tropical marine biofilms. So during the literature review, I found that the biofilm maturity is usually inferred using only one parameter at a time. Researchers commonly use indicators such as immersion time, biomass, thickness, or surface coverage. However, these measures often produce inconsistent results because of biofilms of the same age can behave very differently depending on their microbial composition and ecological development. There is no unified definition of biofilm maturity, making it difficult to compare studies or predict recruitment. This revealed an opportunity to develop a multidimensional framework that integrates physical, structural, biological, and functional indicators into a single conceptual model. So, the existing studies have already explored many individual aspects of biofilms, including microbial succession, EPS production, quorum sensing, and larval settlement. The limitation is that these factors are usually studied independently. My contribution was therefore not to introduce new biological parameters but to integrate existing knowledge into a unified ecological framework. The framework defines biofilm maturity as a multidimensional process rather than simply the age of a biofilm. It also introduces the concept of recruitment competency, describing the ability of a mature biofilm to support successful larval settlement. So the framework was developed through a structured literature-based methodology. I first performed an extensive review of marine biofilm ecology, microbial succession, EPS production, quorum sensing, and recruitment biology. Next, I identified research gaps in existing maturity assessment methods. I then focused on studies from the Indian Ocean region to capture characteristics specific to tropical marine environments. Key indicators reported across these studies were extracted and grouped into four interconnected dimensions. These are the physical indicators, the structural indicators, the biological indicators, and the functional indicators. Finally, each dimension was supported using published evidence, resulting in the conceptual framework presented here. So, the main outcome of this work is the proposed biofilm maturity framework. Rather than viewing maturity as a function of time, the framework describes biofilm development as a continuous ecological process. Physical indicators describe the extent of colonization. Structural indicators represent the organization of biofilm matrix. Biological indicators capture microbial succession and community complexity. Finally, the functional indicators determine whether the biofilm can actively influence larval settlement. When these dimensions collectively reach sufficient maturity, the biofilm becomes recruitment competent, increasing the likelihood of successful macrofouling establishment. This framework also provides a foundation for future quantitative maturity indices. So, in conclusion, this work identifies an important gap in the current biofilm maturity assessment. The proposed framework integrates multiple biological processes into a single conceptual model, providing a providing a common language for comparing studies across different marine environments. Although it is currently conceptual, it establishes a foundation for future experimental validation and the development of predictive maturity indices capable of estimating recruitment potential. Thank you.